Good evening, class, and welcome to our presentation. Tonight, we're going to be discussing what a remuneration policy is in a learning organization. Our company, Steering to Success, is one of those companies that can help you with your remuneration policy and in your company. Steering to Success is an exclusive firm in the human resource field providing outsourced services by assisting them in implementing human resource policies and procedures. Our consultants and HR team also assist with initiating and chairing disciplinary hearings, strikes, wage negotiations, performance management, and much more. Our board of directors has approached our HR manager and asked the HR team to design a remuneration policy for Steering to Success and to distinguish the necessary policies and procedures. So, let's look at what is necessary for the remuneration policy.
Good day, my name is Remuneration and I will be covering the remuneration policy content for Steering to Success. Remuneration policies are recognized as being critical to the delivery of an organization's business strategy. The drivers of any organization in designing a remuneration policy is to attract and retain talented employees. How do an organization attract talented employees? Is to remain competitive by offering competitive salary packages that are similar to those offered by competing employers. How do organizations retain their employees? Now that the organization has attracted and hired the new employee, the factors that cause employees to leave the company is often due to inadequate compensation. And that is why it is very important for the HR manager to make sure that there is equity in terms of compensation within the organization. Now we're going to look at remuneration strategies, which is to build employee engagement, boost employee attraction, retention and development in order to deliver the vision and the strategies of the organization. We're now going to look at remuneration policies aligned with global trends and organizations also offering employees added flexibility with more incentives based on performance, in earlier bonuses and salary increases. The rewarding environment produces high degree of performance output. We're now going to look at the remuneration policy principles, which are competitive remuneration packages, rewarding high performance employees, employee code of conduct, total cost of employee managed, and company and individual performance reward. These are in terms of incentive plans, variable pay plans, and also bonuses. Thank you very much.
Good day guys, and my name is Phoebe Oliver, and I will be speaking to you guys about what is a salary structure, the different types of salary structures that can consist within an organization, the benefits of a salary structure in the organization, and what are the components that consist within a salary structure. Let's get started. So salary structure is the structure or details of the salary for an organization being offered in terms of the break of various components that can constitute the compensation of that organization. Salary structures are often the core of compensation programs and are the most important part of your pay philosophy, your organization's pay philosophy. Salary structures can be an important tool that can determine the gross salary, the net salary, the in-hand pay, as well as other allowances. So, what are the different components within a salary structure? The usual components of a salary structure can include the following. Number one, a basic salary. This is a taxable based income. House rent allowance number 2. This is a component of the salary that employers pay to meeting accommodation requirements. Special allowance. This is a special amount that can be deducted to the basic salary. Leave travel allowance. This allowance is given by the employer to the employee to cover his or his traveling cost. The provident fund. This is a special fund that is automatically deducted from the employee's pay to the provident fund. Medical allowance. This is when the employee receives money for his or her medical expenditures. Then we're also going to look at what are the different salary types that can possibly consist within an organization. So the salary structure are designed to remain competitive, to manage expenditure, to reward employees fairly. There are many options to choose from when it comes to designing a salary structure. Today we're going to look at traditional structure. This is a structure that consists of narrow ranges and multiple grades within separate structures for each employee. The structure offers flexibility and works well in a stable organization, and managers have less discretion to rise pay within the system. Broadband structure. Employees are grouped by the type of job within the structure. This structure type offers strict guidelines and are flexible and consist of fewer strict controls. Then we have the market-based structure. This salary type is based on data collected from the job market with regards to pay for each job. The salary type has a range for each specific job type within the typical narrow pay ranges to keep them in line with the external job market. Lastly, we've got the step structure. This structure is used when equity is important within the organization and the differences in performance levels become difficult to assess. Step structure are fixed and are more fixed than the previous types of structures that we've mentioned. So what are the benefits what are the benefits that can consist within a salary structure? A faulty pay framework can have a huge knock-on effect to the business, impacting retention, employee engagement, organizational design, and more. So in order for your organization to address a wide-ranging challenges, reward benefits should be the key focus, and creating a modern future-focused salary structure guideline. So here's a few benefits to a salary structure. Fairness. Fairness will ensure that employees are treated fairly. If all employees have an understanding as to where their role fits into that job level or grade, would then consist of a fair process. Transparency. Sharing your salary structure and process that was followed to developing it with employees or your team. This will allow for an open and trusted conversation around salary. Motivation. Understanding the options available to progress your career and pay can motivate employees. This process will automatically then allow for an open conversation yet again as to what is required to progress your pay within the organization. This process avoids less productive discussions between the manager and the employee. Engagement. Creating employee engagement comes with some key components. There are to be treated fairly, understand how to advance your career within the organization, where you fit in the organization, and how your input supports the overall effort within the organization. Lastly, we've got support management. Discussions around pay with your employees or team can be a challenging conversation. Having a well-designed salary framework that includes the market value and the equity can provide confidence and support decision making around salary. Thank you. That is it from my side. I will now give over to Granville and Lauren.
be discussing remuneration and compensation theories. Now, we all know that remuneration or compensation is what you get in return for work completed when you work for an organization. However, there are three different theories that organizations apply when they go about remunerating and compensating their employees. The first theory is reinforcement theory and expectancy theory. The second theory is around equity theory, which encompasses internal equity, external equity, and individual equity. And then the last theory is agency theory. With regards to reinforcement theory, reward is always paid for high performance. When an employee performs highly, organizations tend to reward those individuals. And what we've seen was when you reward high performing individuals, you are encouraging that they continue with their high performance, and this always comes through. However, when you don't reward high performance employees, you might see a decrease in performance when they're not rewarded. Also, when other employees in the organization see that employees who perform very well and above expectations are rewarded, they will follow suit. They will also try and do what they're supposed to do in the organization in order to receive this reward. When organizations have such reward theories in place, it creates the expectation that when you do your work above expectation, you will be rewarded. The second theory is
the agency theory. The agency theory perceives both the employee and the employer as stakeholders of the organization, and that the salary paid to the employee is seen as the agency cost. The employee may try and push for an increase in the agency cost. However, the employer will obviously try to keep this as low as possible. It is thus beneficial for both parties that they agree upon the agency cost beforehand. Now let us have a look at critiquing the reinforcement and expectancy theory. So although employees are rewarded for high performance, the principle of being rewarded for going over and above your job duties should still apply. Many employees become complacent with the idea that should they perform 100% of their job duties, that they should still be rewarded. When, for example, an employee is paid a salary to perform 100% of the key performance indicators and also expected to go over and above what the job requires of them, the organization should have a look at reward strategies. If this is not done correctly, it may cause friction amongst employees and ultimately impact their performance. Now let us look at critiquing the equity theory. Many organizations advertise high salaries to attract candidates to the organization, and often these salaries are higher than what your current staff performing in the same position are earning. When the new employee, for example, joins the organization, they are to be coached and mentored by their current staff who performs in the same function. Organizations should thus be mindful of internal equity compensation to not cause differences amongst employees performing in the same position. This may then lead to low employee morale. However, if the new employee joins with a higher qualification and more experience, it is thus acceptable.
Let's have a look at our remuneration philosophy. Our remuneration philosophy for steering to success is an executive management, non-executive directors, and other employees which are benchmarks against the industry standards. We strive to remunerate our employees competitively within the relevant occupational ranges. External consultants will aid us in establishing the market-related salary benchmarks. Through annual HR budget reviews, we consider both employee performance and business affordability to reach an appropriate remuneration figure. Our philosophy is balanced and recognizes differences in individual performance, value, and contribution to the organization through a framework that is consistent to ensure non-discriminatory pay levels and justifiable remuneration decisions. A conscientious objective setting processes at all levels to ensure shareholder expectations are met and/or exceeded. Steering to Success's remuneration is structured in a manner that supports our strategy by the following: attracting, motivating and retaining high-performing employees by being competitive within the market, encouraging and rewarding employees to achieve or exceed the objectives and targets of the business as contained in the business strategy, and aligning the economic interests of employees with those of other stakeholders. Steering to Success considers the 50th percentile of the selection of peer companies, primarily from the labour sector, for base pay setting. This is supported by a banquet of relevant employee benefits. Where applicable, such as in attracting people with relevant skills, Steering to Success will remunerate above this benchmark. The next section we're going to look at is reward components. Steering to Success offers reward components in different manners. These are as follows. Number 1 is base salary. This is a fixed compensation which is required to attract a given set of skills, competencies, and experience. The base salary is used to determine other elements of compensation and benefits. Number 2 is co-investment executive share plan. The executive committee members are required to hold a specific minimum numbers of shares within Steering to Success. To assist them in meeting the minimum shareholder requirements or MSR, the co-investment plan CIP allows executive committee members to invest 50% of their after-tax cash bonuses in listed shares with the JSE, and the company will then match their initial investment into the scheme at 150%, with investing over 2 years in 2 equal tranches. Number 3, employee benefits and allowances. Subject to local competitive practice and legislation, Steering to Success's policy is to provide, where appropriate, additional elements of compensation from the following list: retirement schemes, full or partially matched with the employee contributes towards retirement savings, medical aid and dental benefits. This compromises either a percentage contribution, a reimbursement, or a company provided with clinics and healthcare providers. Another factor would be life insurance, comprising of a fixed amount or a multiple of base salary. Disability insurance, either short or long term, comprises an amount to partially replace lost compensation during a period of medical incapacity or disability. Accident death and dismemberment cover, usually comprising a schedule of fixed amounts of multiples of salary. Another one is relocation allowances. This enables an employee and their family to relocate for business purposes from one location to the other. Allowances may be once only or extended over a determined period and cover such expenses such as house sale and purchase, transportation of effects, cost of living, rental expenses, and school fees. Variable pay is a way to compensate employees based on job criteria beyond hours of work. However, variable pay requires effort to administer and should be set up to ensure that you are incentivizing the intended behavior. As an organization, we create an opportunity for additional earning for employees by the implementation of variable pay schemes, such as recognition, short-term incentives, long-term incentives. Steering to Success's remuneration plan includes some of the following incentives. Short-term incentives. The short-term incentives cover incentives such as performance bonuses and pay for performance. This focuses on attaining results in both the short and medium term, whilst at the same time ensuring the successful execution of the strategy plan, a variable component that rewards contributions to the business plan. It offers the opportunity for pay for performance to incentivize employees. Long-term incentives is crucial in retaining business-critical employees. It focuses attention on achieving long-term strategic imperatives and aligns performance with shareholder thinking and expectations. Rewards sustainable to company performance. Lastly is recognition, rewarding employees for phenomenal work performance in the form of a certificate, gift voucher, or a cash incentive. Performance is other than just the normal basic function of work. It is the employee performing at their best and being rewarded for it.
Good day, I am Aiden Dirksen and today I will be covering the following two topics that I've covered in our remuneration policy, which was guaranteed paid and also incorporating performance systems into it. So let's start at guaranteed paid. What is guaranteed paid? According to Stanford University, it's an agreement that the employer must pay employees for when they are available to work and when there is no work available. It's also the individual's contribution and employee's potential that he or she brings to the organization that is a key factor in determining his or her guaranteed pay rate. Like, for example, creating high performance cultures within different divisions of the organization and working teams will obviously and most likely motivate employees to grow, and with performance comes along, and that can play a huge role in determining future guaranteed pay rates. And let's go on to performance systems. Reward management performance systems have a major impact on organizations' capability to catch and retain and motivate high potential employees as a result and getting to high levels of performance. That is according to Gango, an article I've read. Moving on, remuneration systems is usually implemented to motivate employees so that they can perform better quality of work, be more productive, be self-motivated, have self-confidence, establish a service-oriented behavior, and avoid corruption. In terms of that, employees can be compensated in the forms of salaries, fixed allowances, variable allowances, incentives, and other facilities. Remuneration is the total compensation received by employees in return for his or her service he has done, according to Gustav Nishi, 2016. And as you go along, you would find that I have attached an annexure of how employees will be evaluating. Just to give you a brief indication of what it is. So first we have level 1, which is requirements general.
Good day everyone, my name is Manuel Buerta and I am from the learning organization called Steering to Success. Today I will be discussing our employee benefits and allowance structure and also the retention strategy that we have in place to retain our best employees. As you might have learned already, remuneration or compensation is a payment due to you as an employee for labor services rendered to your employer. This is by applying your skills and education and experience, whereby your employer will in return compensate you for these labor services rendered. The compensation in return will include a basic salary and any other bonuses or economic benefits during your time of employment at the workplace. These benefits include retirement benefits, which will be compulsory for all employees at Steering to Success, also medical aid or health insurance, allowances such as your housing allowances if you are a homeowner or a tenant, and also car allowances. In the instance for employees that work shifts, they might be eligible for shift allowances that might be paid to them. What you will get as an employee of Steering to Success, the remuneration and benefit structure are grouped in terms of your salary level and also as well as the type of employment, either permanent or if you're on contract. Applicable to all employees in terms of labor legislation and law, you are required to contribute to the UIF and also your employee will contribute the same amount as you as the employee. Permanent appointment salary level 2 to 10 will receive a basic salary and added other medical aid and retirement benefit. What the retention strategy entails. Employees leave organizations for various reasons. They might get a better job offer, or they might relocate with their spouse and family, or like many, go back to university to further their education. There are various reasons that influence the retention of staff, They might be amongst others employee engagement or your work environment, but a very common one, salary expectations. It was said before that employers should at least offer the employee a competitive salary and benefit structure. Also, to add, it's not always about the money, but a recent survey that was done showed that many of the participants, which is employees in various employment sectors, showed that the reason why they want to stay with the organization is to have financial stability, as they see it as an important motivational factor. Some of them also added that having health insurance or medical aid benefits ensure that they are available for work constantly and that they are less often sick in order to do their work. Thank you. Once again, welcome back everyone. My name is Manuel Bota. In conclusion to our remuneration policy, it can now be determined that the compensation package has an impact on the overall performance of an employee as well as top executives. Employees will see a compensation package as a vital motivational factor, as this will steer them to do the best they can and also to get certain bonuses and rewards for outstanding performances. An attractive compensation package will also be a good staff retention strategy, as many individuals seek to have financial stability in today's economy. Lastly, employee satisfaction will be high, as well as productivity levels, as optimal outputs are being reached, which will in return bring down absenteeism in the workplace, as many employees are looking forward to be at the workplace as they will feel valued by their employer. We dearly thank you for taking some time out to allow us to present. Have a good day further.